If you struggle with acne during your youth or even as an adult, it's time to give Am Melanin MAGIC Acne Serum a try. Unlike other harsh products that dry out your skin, our oils balance and purify, helping to heal inflammation. All natural and formulated to meet the requirements of melanated skin. You'll see results in no time. Don't delay. Order yours today.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I hope that you are doing beautiful. I hope that you're feeling well. I hope that you're peaceful and productive. Welcome to the Am Melanin MAGIC channel and brand, also known as Tanesia's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri. Today we're talking about something very important, your follicles. Your follicles. You hear that word all the time, but understanding what it actually means is a whole nother thing. Your follicles need 3 things to be healthy. Are yours healthy? You need nutrients, you need oxygen, and a clean environment for your follicles. So today we're going to discuss what you need to do when and if your follicles are clogged, and what to do if you're not sure, like how can you tell? All right. When your follicles are clogged, your hair is still growing, but it starts to slow down. The rate at which your hair is growing may just seem to be longer and contracted, and it can also start to become thinner. Okay, but once you get the buildup cleared and you restore a normal situation, in most cases you can rebound. Your hair can bounce back. So I want to differentiate between your follicles being clogged and the hair loss that can happen from it being clogged versus the hair loss from miniaturization, which is something I spoke about in my last video, or just when your follicles actually die, when your follicles die. Okay, because it's important to have an understanding, a basic idea of the difference, okay? As I said before, when your follicles are clogged, it's associated with moderate shedding or slow hair growth, okay? This can translate to the early stage, though, of hair issues, because if you don't mitigate that, then you're going to have other issues. But this kind of issue can usually be arrested, okay? Then we're talking about the type of, follicle issues that have to do with miniaturization. Miniaturization is what happens and what causes hair loss and thinning over time. It can be associated with a host of other concerns like DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone, which has to do with some technicalities discussed in the last video, 5-alpha protease enzymes, and some other things that attack the hair, but hormone issues, alopecia, and that sort of thing. Let's say you have a thick strand, then it becomes a little less thick, and then all of a sudden it looks like a baby strand, and then all of a sudden you don't have anything. Okay, that's when we're talking about miniaturization, which is what a lot of the women that I talk with deal with. Matter of fact, the lady that I was dealing with, shout out to you, Miss CD, is the inspiration for this particular video. Then we have the death of the follicle. When the follicle dies, it's over now. It's over now. Seriously, in these cases, you'll see shiny areas where there's actually no hair at all. It might actually look like this, okay? But I'm one of those keep hope alive people. Okay, some of those follicles can go dormant and be around. Some others that have checked out and are not coming back. So, you know, it may be looking crazy like this, but it doesn't mean it is fully over. Okay, some of the follicles actually are known to be dormant or be trying to make their comeback for sometimes even up to 4 years. Can you believe that? It can take a follicle that's really struggling that long to actually make a comeback. That's a pretty big deal. Okay, so what is the follicle? My plan is to put an image up here. I hope that I remember to go back and put the image up here. I'm in menopause. I hope I remember to go back and put the image in here. When I talk about the follicle, the follicle is the tunnel inside your skin where the hair actually grows up out of. Okay, it's like a sleeve or a sheath. You know how you pull out the sword out of a sheath? Okay, think of the sheath as the follicle. It's the top part. The top part of that follicle holds the hair strand or the shaft. This is called the shaft, okay? The middle of it has attachments like the oil gland, the sebaceous gland. The bottom holds the bulb where the hair actually forms and grows. So when we say follicle, we really are talking about that full structure that surrounds or sheaths, if that's a word, that surrounds and protects the hair under your skin. The skin meaning the scalp. All right. So hopefully I put this image up. It's supposed to be an image of your hair anatomy, so you have something to refer to as we go through this. So you got the hair shaft. This is the part you see. This is the strand. This is the lock, okay? It sticks out above the skin of your scalp. It's made of dead skin cells and protein called keratin. I know you've heard that all the time when people are doing those protein treatments. It's to shore up the protein, the keratin, okay? It grows from the follicle and it gets longer. It's growing out of the skin, which is down into the follicle, and it's getting longer and longer and longer over time. Then you have the sebaceous gland, and I'm just giving the basics. I'm not going all in. You can study if you want. I'm just giving you the basics. The sebaceous gland is what produces the sebum that we talk about all the time. It's the oil-producing gland that's attached to the side of the follicle. Okay, this gland produces the sebum, the natural oil, and you know you always hear jojoba is the oil that is closest to our natural sebum, which is why it works so well on the hair. That sebum keeps our hair moisturized. Okay, and the oil that it produces travels through a tiny duct, and it enters the follicle. The sebum moves up the follicle and coats the whole hair shaft. If it can get up there with our hair, depending upon the texture, there are other challenges, but it coats the hair and scalp to moisturize it and protect it. This is what your hair naturally has. That sebaceous gland only produces sebum. That's all it does. Okay, the oils that we apply to our hair and that we topically put on ain't got nothing to do with that. When we apply oil, we coat the shaft externally on the outside. Sometimes we can seal in what the sebum has already been making that's moving down the hair strand if it gets that far. The real nourishment, though, comes from inside our bodies, from our blood. No surprise, we understand this, but we got to work on the inner and the outer. This is what we can call the biological nourishment, you know, what the blood is giving us. The topical stuff that we do technically has zero to do with this process, okay? Our blood is what feeds the follicles, okay? They're what allow them to thrive and to be healthy. But if that ain't healthy, you really got problems, okay? And if it is healthy and you're doing stuff that weaken it and attack it, like those painful retightenings and the pulling and all that stuff, you're still gonna be in trouble. So balance, baby, balance. I digress. So the blood does its thing, and then we do what we do. We go in with the topical support. Now this is for people that already got trouble. Y'all know we got 3 different sizes now. This is for people that are already in hell, already in trouble. Okay, topical support externally influences what happens. Some of the ingredients you use, affect the environment around the follicle or scalp, which can support better conditions. When you put that oil on your hair, technically you're not putting this on your hair anyway, you already know that, but it's preserving what you already have grown. It's dealing with this stuff in most cases, but not all cases. When you apply the product to your scalp, it can just sit there. Literally, it can just sit there. And this has nothing to do with porosity and all of that. It can indirectly, these matters are complicated, but it can just sit there, or it can absorb into the dermis if the molecules are small enough. And if it does, then it can influence or help to influence and create better health for the follicle, okay? Most of the oils, though, will sit on top. Carrier oils will sit on top unless they have penetrating properties, or unless they have extremely bioactive, powerful compounds in them, okay? In these cases, for the ones that are sitting on top, they protect, they seal in moisture, and they help to soften it and smooth the hair out. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but that's not all we need. You got to get that nutritive support, which is why you hear me say oil, oil, oil. Other kinds of more powerful and anatomically compatible ingredients in some of the oils absorb into the epidermis, okay? This is the epidermis, the skin. They penetrate down to the middle layer, which is the dermis, and they reach the space around the follicle, if you're lucky. For those products that reach the space around the follicle, we can get a little action here. They can boost the blood flow. They can calm inflammation. They can clear microbacteria. Y'all hear me say micro is microbial, microbial. They can deal with yeast. They can unclog the sebum, and they can create an overall better environment for your hair to flourish. Okay, lighter oils penetrate the epidermis. Common oils that you know are very light, that don't clog, that are non-comedogenic. They can reach the dermis and follicle zone, though only if the molecules are small enough. Molecules not small enough, it's not getting there. Stage left, enter the essential oils like rosemary, lavender, whatever those oils are. Those molecules are so little, they definitely are going to penetrate. Okay, but some of the lighter oils like jojoba, camellia, some of those oils will penetrate too as well. All right. If it makes too much oil or mixes with buildup, though, it can clog the follicle. Anything that you're putting into the oil, and anything, if your sebum is enough, or your sebum, if you got some imbalance going on there, putting more on top can clog the follicle if it's not being absorbed. Because it's got to not only get to the top layer, it's got to go down into it. Assume that there are 3 layers. So let me define the dermis, or the dermal layers. You have the dermis, okay, which is in the middle. This is the epidermis is here. Okay, the dermal layer, the dermis is right in the middle. This is the middle layer, and then the hypodermis, where the fatty is, the fatty bottom layer, is down here at the bottom. The dermis is in the middle. That's the part of the skin where your follicles, your oil glands, your blood vessels live. If an oil can make it here, it's got a chance. Run, Forrest, run. It's got a chance. If it can make it there, it can go to work to help your hair. All essential oils are molecule measures. All essential oils are measured in something called Daltons. They usually are between 1 and 300, which means they absorb. But carrier oils, heavier oils, are between 600 to 1,000, which is the reason why they don't absorb. Typically, anything that is under 500 can absorb. So your lighter oils like sesame, which we use, camellia, jojoba, some of the other oils that are potent like black seed and pumpkin oil, if they're used consistently with the essential oils blended into any of these, even some of the moderately heavier oils like the pumpkin and the black seed, they're heavier oils. But because of their bioactive content and the fact that they're powerful compounds, you're going to get results. Okay, so there are a lot of different things that go into this. I want to be as basic as possible, but not so basic that it's shallow. Heat can impact the oils and what they would normally absorb or not. If the skin is wet, skin meaning your scalp, that can impact how it's absorbed. If it's diluted or mixed with something else that's penetrating, or that's a penetrating carrier oil or an essential oil, the absorption can be upped as well. And let's not forget the quintessential massage, which also will help the absorption and the circulation and help get those oils to penetrate. God has graced us with so many different kinds of oils, y'all. We really are blessed. I'm just naming a few. But y'all, not all oils are created equally. Even at moderate penetration levels, oils like black seed and pumpkin are only effective because of what they have in them. That's what makes them effective. So typically it would sit on the strand a little bit more or a little bit longer, taking longer, maybe needing heat, maybe needing massage and everything else. But because of what it's made up of, this feels good. We don't have to worry about that. So let's talk about whether or not, y'all, this feels so good, your follicles are clogged. Some of the signs that your follicles are clogged, I don't think I massage enough. Imagine when somebody else massages, but when you're massaging your own hair and it feels good, that lets you know you're not spending enough time taking care of yourself. Okay? Some of the signs that your follicles may be clogged. Okay? When you put oil on your hair or grease, and it feels coated, like it doesn't get absorbed right away, and an hour later it's still sitting up there. Your scalp starts to feel waxy, feels a little sticky or oily. Even if it's just a day or two after washing it and it doesn't feel like natural hair sebum, like natural sebum is not going to feel like this, it's likely that you have buildup that's blocking the follicles. Okay? These could be oils. They could be natural oils because not all oils are created the same. We know coconut oil technically by itself does not need to be sitting on the scalp, while it's excellent for the shaft. So we got a lot of things we have to consider. Then you got sweat and your pollution from the air, but sweat mixing with the residue. So take your finger and just swipe your finger or a cotton pad, a little ball of cotton across the scalp. If there's a film or something unusual or there's residue, there's a sign. That is a sign, okay? Look for scalp bumps and texture changes, small bumps, little rough patches, or areas that feel tender or irritated. They can indicate clogged follicles or some kind of an imbalance. Blocked follicles usually trap sebum or keratin and lead to inflammation. So if you have any visible signs of inflammation, sores, redness, pain, you got some issues. So you can use the pads of your fingers to massage the scalp in little sections. Do you feel soreness? Do you feel little gritty areas where the texture feels different, or you got some uncomfortable spots that hurt and you ain't had no retightening? You know what I'm saying? Also, begin to notice how easily or unevenly your hair grows. Okay, when I say how easily it grows, notice the pacing. Blocked follicles can often cause uneven growth patches where the hair is thinner or is seeming to stall. One area is growing faster than the other area. So you can part your hair down the middle or put it into 4 parts like you're going to plait it, and just start comparing the density and the texture of your new growth. If one section has significantly shorter or sparser hairs, and even sometimes changes in texture, because remember, when the follicles start to miniaturize, the texture of your hair will start to change. It'll be more fine, it'll be more like baby hairs, okay? These kind of things can indicate that they're blocked or that they're inflamed. Another popular one I was talking to with Miss CD is scalp odor or an off smell. And what I mean by that is if it's persistent or it's unusual and it's coming from your scalp, even after you wash your hair. You can wash your hair sometime and it can still be a mustard or a sour scent that suggests maybe there's some buildup of oil, sweat, or even bacteria. Okay, it's just one of those signs that your follicles might not be able to breathe as well as they should. So you may have to wash more. You may still wash 2 or 3 times and you still kind of have that funky, sour, or musty smell even after you washing. You could have bacterial yeast, overgrowing, some trapped oils, dead skin that's just sitting there that hasn't been exfoliated properly. Okay, so after you wash, just wait a day or 2 after you wash your hair. And just I do this all the time. This is how I tell it. That's how I know that the oils deal with lock funk. Because when I used to use some other oils back in the day and I would do like this, damn, my hair smells horrible. Like I went riding on my bike today. I've been riding. This is the 5th day in a row I rode. Put your little tops of your hands here. If you smell an unpleasant odor, it suggests that your follicles are not breathing properly. Like literally, when I tell you I smell nothing, but it smells pleasant. Sometimes a single wash might not fully remove the buildup, especially if there's been a lot of product or natural oil accumulation over time. In these cases, you might need to wash a couple of times to get everything out. But if the follicles are really clogged, regular washing alone might not be enough. This is when you might want to use a gentle exfoliating scrub or a clarifying shampoo every now and then to help you to tackle any kind of stubborn buildup that you might be dealing with. You want to be really mindful of that. Now, clarifying shampoos are actually designed to remove stubborn residue and buildup that regularly starts to accumulate and that regular shampoo might leave behind. Okay, that's something you have to keep in mind. Now, it ain't getting all the way down to the bottom part of the follicle, but it can enter at a certain part of the follicular structure and allow more of an opening that can assist you in the long run, okay? The clarifying shampoo will help the follicles to breathe and help them to start to function better again, okay? All right, you might want to, I would say don't engage in clarifying shampoos that often because they're very drying and they feel very harsh on the hair. But after you use them, your hair feels good. And Suave does have one. That's the cheap one that I use. I like Suave and it has done exactly what it's supposed to do, okay? When products sit on top of your hair instead of absorbing in, this is something that you can notice. You put the product in and you just see it sitting on top of the hair. If the scalp product seems to just be there and it's not doing anything, doesn't look like it's absorbing, then it could be because of blocked pores or hardened sebum. So you can take a small amount of oil or serum and just put it on your scalp, open up somewhere, put it on your scalp. Like I said earlier, you come back an hour and it's still slick and you haven't gotten any absorption, your follicles are blocked. It is likely not penetrating. The other thing you can do is use a lighted mirror and a scalp massager. You know those things that look like this? Hopefully I remember to put some up on the screen. They look like this and you can just kind of go in, okay? And you can rest assured that they're gonna be safe. You can use a magnifying mirror. You can even use your phone camera actually. And as you are using that, look and see if you see a white film, any flaking or shining buildup. Even after you shampoo, try using a little scalp brush. You can get the ones with the silicone little bristles so that it's safe for your hair. But if you're doing that and you get a ton of residue lifting, your scalp was actually clogged, okay? I used to just kind of do like that. Look at that, nothing. I didn't wash my hair, huh? But I lost my doggone train of thought. I was saying something. Let me just back at the ranch. Okay, so what can you do if they're clogged? You gotta exfoliate. Just like the skin, you gotta exfoliate. Sisterlocks, Microlocks, and other small locks, something super gentle is very key. It's key really for everybody. You don't wanna traumatize the scalp. A great option would be a scalp scrub that dissolves easily, like the one that some people make with sugar. Some people use fine salt. I would stay away from salt because it's too daggone harsh. Okay, but it needs to be something that rinses out without leaving residue. Coffee's great for the face, not for the hair. You don't want anything getting stuck. Okay, so some people have talked about using sugar scrubs because of the sugar granules that gently exfoliate the scalp. And then when you're using warm water, they just dissolve, okay? But I'm always of the mindset to test something on a small section of your hair before you go all in. Because what each of us can tolerate is as different as the differences in our hair types. Even when you think about it, for some people, even sugar might be too abrasive and cause micro tears in the skin on their scalp. So it all depends on your particular ecosystem, the one that's in your scalp ecosystem, and what you got going on, what your intuition is telling you, and what your hair is telling you. If the sugar is not rinsed out thoroughly, it can also get sticky. So you got to be mindful, especially if your water is not hot enough. That's why it's very important to use very, very warm water and make sure that everything is rinsed out, okay? A scalp serum or something that is specifically designed for exfoliation, okay, would be the safest route. Your loctician may have something that she can suggest. I'm all for the massage, the clarifying shampoo, because I've never had a level of blockage that was a concern. Some people will also use salicylic acid. A lot of people use that for acne. I did before I started making my own oils. My suggestion here is to do your own research, okay? There are pre-formulated enzyme exfoliants that are being made today, which are natural, which are very good for the hair, like those that are made with like papaya or willow bark or something else that you might believe in, or that is an ingredient that you know will work for you already. As I mentioned before, the scalp massager or the brush can be very good. That's a go-to exfoliator. You ain't got to worry about any grit. If you get the kind with the little balls on the end, you still need to be mindful, but it's very, very safe. It's not, don't go in there. Remember how the parents used to do when we were growing up and they were scratching the dandruff and doing that? We just do that and walk around, you got stuff all in your head and somebody been doing it. Don't do it. Don't trade places with what I've been through, Miss Celie, okay? And what you want to do is stir up the debris on the scalp. You want to get the dead skin cells up and anything else that might be in there. Okay, the popcorn that you had a week ago. Okay, but like I said, my go-to is a clarifying shampoo, which will help to unclog at the surface. And then there's an apple cider vinegar. I did an apple cider vinegar video, I think it was about 1.5 years ago. It's on the channel, you just have to do a search. But typically we use the apple cider vinegar rinses or the soaps to deal with the debris and to bring stuff up. And it does bring up some crazy looking stuff. But the apple cider vinegar helps, or it can help, clarify the scalp by dissolving buildup and balancing the pH. It won't reach deep into the follicle, but it can support a surface environment that's cleaner, which can help keep the follicle opening clear and healthy. Everything is not always going to penetrate, but anything that's going to help keep that environment healthy, because we say what? Oxygen, a healthy environment, and nutrients, which come from the blood, and then nutrients that may come from anything else that you may put. The 3 most effective essential oils that you can use to help unblock your follicles are peppermint oil, tea tree oil, and rosemary. Okay, if you're somebody that deals with oils, or you're putting together your own little mist and you want to spray some of that on there, those are things that are definitely going to penetrate to the dermal layer and go in. Okay, so there you have it. We went in. You may have to rewind this video and revisit some of the parts. I hope that you do feel better informed. I hope that the next time that somebody uses the word follicle, you can think of that sword, okay, being pulled out of the sheath. Y'all, I have my own sword and my shield. I'm a spiritual warrior. Are you an initiate? So that sword being pulled out of that sheath, okay, the sword being the strand or the shaft, and that sheath that is coming out being the protective covering or the follicle. Let's say the source of where it comes from. So again, with Tanisha Ali of I Am Melanin Magic, the brand. We have free shipping all summer. Okay, great sale. Shout out to the beautiful Vanessa Kennedy. Shout out to the beautiful Cynthia Faison. Shout out to the beautiful Karina. Shout out to the many of you guys. Just showing some love for some of the real frequent flyers. All right, gonna be doing some giveaways soon, but these are the 3 different sizes. If you are interested in ordering and you want to give it a try, I'm telling you, this is extremely effective. This is a God-inspired recipe. Okay, I always pray when I'm in my lab for what is going to be the best thing for you all and for myself, because I use my stuff as well. I love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Have a beautiful weekend whenever it is you see this video, morning, afternoon, or evening. For those of you who are interested in the 4-month Summer of Transformation course, a sacred initiation, okay, into conscious love and the 7 spiritual love languages, look in the community post. And also, I think I pinned it in the comments, or I'll pin it in the comments to this video. You can register. Registration starts. The class starts on the 21st. We will meet every Monday night throughout the class period when we have the live coaching sections. You can, when you click the link, it will send you directly to the Throne 69 portal. You can register there. You can pay in installments, or you can pay all at one time. Be on the lookout for, this is the journal that goes with that course. Okay, be on the lookout for the book and the oracle. All right, all of my journals come with the deck that you use for yourself to help you study and really internalize these principles, as you all know, and they come with the journal. Now, I have changed the cover of this, and I've also added more to it so that it can qualify as a book, or so that it would qualify as a book on Amazon. It still looks kind of similar to this, but it's a little bit different. There's a level 1 and a level 2. And I'm going to pull a card for us today, just as something that you need to focus on as it relates to your femininity, okay? Your feminine energy. Because we want to get to a place where we're not mimicking things, where we are not having to memorize, where we recognize that feminine energy is a presence. It's a regulating presence. It's a sense of expansiveness. Okay, it is the energy of just being. Okay, it's embodiment. It's not up here, it's in here. Okay, but anyway, this is loving detachment. So this is telling me that there's something you're needing to let go of in your life. Loving detachment is, she's also opening a door to a new opportunity. I always say that when one door closes, it has to close so that the other one can open up. But loving detachment is when you do it with love. There's no animosity, regardless of what you're detaching from. It could be your job, it could be a partner, whatever this is something that you've outgrown, and it's something that is no longer serving you. And anything that is no longer serving you that you keep in your life becomes what? It ain't a blessing anymore, it becomes a blockage. So loving detachment, and let me read what I wrote in the book for that particular card, because that's what's going to be most helpful. Look at that. I might have put it back in the deck. Here we go. It's card number 55. Fives, for people who deal with numerology, equate to challenges and hardships and growth, spiritual initiation. So this may be you needing to give somebody the key back, or you needing to take the key back, or you needing to separate from a situation. There's something that is no longer serving you, okay? Whatever it is. And that's card 55. I just want to read that to you. Loving detachment represents the divine feminine's ability to release control, expectations, and unhealthy attachments while maintaining compassion and care. There's a way to do it. She ain't screaming and hollering and cussing and throwing stuff out. She realizes, baby, it's time to close that door, because she got to open up another one, and she can't open up another one until she closes the last one. So there's no reason for animosity at all, whether it's your job, whether it is you dealing with a sibling or something else that's going on. Look at that, the computer. I keep getting the dreaded blue screen, okay? So loving detachment allows you to honor your boundaries, respect your own needs, and recognize that you're not only responsible for fixing, that you're not responsible for fixing or saving anyone else. This archetype invites women to embrace a balance of love, independence, and understanding that true connection doesn't require giving at your own expense or sacrificing your well-being. Some doors must be emotionally or physically closed permanently. We don't close doors, y'all, to turn around and open them up later. We close them because we remember why we closed them in the first place. Deck 2, the softening path. We're going to pull another card from this deck. Look at these as affirmation cards, or cards that just help you to canvas what it is that you need to pay attention to. Fascinating womanhood. And we had this card some time ago. We had this one. Look. Wild woman. Fascinating womanhood. It's the art of being a woman. It is, it's more than the art of being a woman. It's embodiment. It's your feminine melody. It's your feminine allure. It's all of the things that make you a woman, that make you a very powerful feminine energy. With my decks, there's a twist on it because we address the dark feminine energy, which is the energy of personal sovereignty, transformation, power, the dark rebirth, the shadow work that you have to do, the going within yourself. And we address the lighter feminine energies, and we help you to reclaim all parts of yourself. But this is the wild woman. There may be an aspect of your wild womanness, and that can happen in a lot of places. It can be unleashing and uninhibiting yourself in the bedroom. It could be you refusing to be controlled or tamed like a wild horse. You understand what I'm saying? So that's saying that you need to shine the light of awareness on something that has to do with you embracing your femininity in a way that maybe you haven't before, and perhaps unleashing the tamed. Love you, and talk to you again soon.